Hare Krishna, dearie. So, thank you for joining today. I seek the blessings of Radha Krishna, Balaram, Bhagavad, Karuna, the assembly audience. So, yesterday we made a start on the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is entitled The Three Modes of Material Nature. And I believe we reached up to text number 9. So, yes, so text number 9 we can continue from. So, Rianch, would you like to do the Sanskrit?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Can I start?
Yes, please.
Text 9. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati raja karmani bharata jnanam avrichitum tama pramade sanjayati yuta.
So, Sitaram.
O son of Bharat, the mode of goodness conditions 1, happiness, passion conditions 1, to fruitive action, and ignorance, covering one's knowledge, binds one to madness.
Text 10. Rajastamaschabi chabibhuya sattvam bhavanti bharata rajasattvam tamaschaiva tamasattvam rajastata.
Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharat, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at the other times, ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy.
Text 11. Sarva dvareshu tesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyat vivridam sattvam yuta.
Good.
The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge.
Text 12. Lobha pravritti arambha karmana mashama spraha rajasyetani jayante vivrida bharatarshava.
O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop.
Text 12. Text 13. Aprakasha pravritascha pramado moha evacha tas tamasi etani jayante vivrita kurunandana.
When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested.
Okay, so let's have a look at these verses. Oh, 1 second. So, there you go. So the mode, so these verses from 10 to 13, we read number 9 as well. The summary is as follows. The modes compete with one another for supremacy within an individual. In the cycle of a single day, different modes may achieve prominence at different times. So the example commonly given is when one rises, especially when rises early in the morning, then the mode of goodness is prominent because one is apt to perhaps meditate or chant or be in a contemplating mood. As the day goes along, we want to go to work, we got so many things to achieve and do in the day, so mode of passion kicks in to enable the work to be done. But we become predominated by the mode of passion. And then in the evening, when we take something to eat after we come home and gradually feel tired and go to sleep. So at that moment, at that time, the mode of ignorance is predominant. So this is, even in one day, we can go through this full cycle of the three modes of material nature. In general, so what are these modes? How do they condition us? Goodness clarifies, pacifies the individual. Since it's motivated, it motivates joy, wisdom, altruism, kindness. So mode of goodness is where one is in a mood of knowledge, having knowledge, understanding, perhaps understanding that life is temporary, the goods and bads, they come and they go. So one is not so disturbed. One has some sort of stability in one's mental capacity. So that brings joy and wisdom, kindness. Passion is said to confuse and provoke the individual, invoking qualities of greed, anger, frustration. This is where we want to do things, we want to get things done. And naturally, in the course of events, we will not be satisfied because whatever we're trying to do may not yield the fruits that we want. And that's what passion's all about, is earning that fruit from the labor that we put in. And because invariably we're not going to achieve what we want to achieve, it's going to bring out these qualities of greed, anger, frustration. Greed, we want more and more. Anger, we can't get it, so we get angry. Frustration, because unfortunately this world is temporary. So whatever benefits come in this world to us, material benefits are also temporary. No matter how hard we work and achieve large family, big bank balance, nice place to live, good cars, it's all temporary because there's something called death, which will change everything. So that leads to frustration. Ignorance is said to obscure and impede one's life, often resulting in oversleep, indifference, laziness, inertia. So many things in ignorance really are out of it completely. Our life is beyond our control. No matter how hard we try, well, we don't even try. This is the problem with mode of ignorance. It results in oversleep, indifference. We don't even care. Yes, we're struggling, but there's no initiative to come out of this state of struggle due to laziness and inertia. So lesson 57, chapter 14. Understand how these modes work. we should know that how these modes work. The modes are not constant in their influence upon everyone. According to our karma, our work, our association, our choice of foods, and so on, a particular mode becomes dominant within us. So if food is a really interesting topic because everybody eats. So if we are consuming foods which are in the mode of ignorance, and that includes foods which cause a lot of harm to others before it comes to our plate, that food is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. So when we subsist on foods like that, the influence of the mode of ignorance will be vast, will be huge, because we're consuming foods which are in the mode of ignorance. But if we are eating fresh fruits and vegetables cooked, within 3 hours of consumption, then those foods will be in the nature of goodness. And naturally, that food will affect our behavior and the mode that we're in. If we're used to eating hard, pungent, putrefied foods, then mode of passion. These are foods which are generally associated with the mode of passion. So that's what our attitude and mood will be like. Our association, similarly, if we keep association with like-minded people, then we will be like them. So if we associate with those in the mode of goodness, then that will rub off on us. Similarly, passion, ignorance. Oh, one particular part of the food which I forgot to mention was, if we only eat, or if we only honor prasad, nothing else, then that's indicative that the mode of pure goodness will be, hopefully, where we should be situated. At least we give ourselves a chance that that's the mode that we will be in. So it's very important to understand these modes, understand how they work. What are we being influenced by? Are we under the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance? And these modes compete with each other depending on time, circumstances, and depending on our karma, of course, our work, association, choice of food, etc. And we'll see that in the next section. Any questions, any comments? Shyamalini, is that okay?
Yes, Prabhu, it's okay. You know the madness, what they say?
Yes.
I don't understand about when they say that it brings madness as well.
Madness, here it
So
is.
it may be that people behave like crazy.
Yes, correct. It's like the people who perhaps are under the influence of drugs, under the influence of drugs.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
They can be, they can flip from perhaps some sort of temporary happiness by taking the drugs, but they can also flip to the other side, which is go crazy, go mad.
Yes.
And the example was one time with Prabhupada. When he first went to the States, he was sharing an apartment with somebody who was interested in Krishna consciousness. I think his name was it David? Can't remember now. Anyway, so in the beginning, he showed a lot of interest, but then later he fell back into his old ways again. He started smoking some drugs. And one time, he became violent. He became mad. He went crazy after taking some drugs. Hallucinations overtook him. And at that time, he became a danger to Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada left that apartment, ran as fast as he could out of there. And then he met a couple of other very helpful persons who found him 26 Second Avenue, where he moved into. So this madness, is a symptom of the mode of ignorance, where the mind is not under control. It's not under control at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's true.
So interesting. Interesting. And I mean, none of us should be in this area. I think most people will be in this area, mode of passion, because this is the material world. This is the age of Kali Yuga. Everybody has to pay the bills, and the bills are just increasing, which means you got to work harder. So this is where most people will be predominantly situated, the mode of ignorance, passion, sorry, passion. But,
thank you, Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shamalini. Well, we are lucky we have this philosophy, because this is where we can rise from this mode of passion to at least a mode of goodness. From there, the step towards spiritual goodness, is pure goodness rather, is a fairly small step. So, okay, so let's carry on. I think we got time. Yeah, good. So Riansh, why don't you carry on? Let me just find it. Oops, wrong one. Okay. Text number 14.
Yada satve pavade tu pralayam yat dehavrit tarotama vidam lokan amalan pratipajyate.
When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages.
Text 15. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangishu jayate tata pralinasta tamasi muda yonishu jayate.
When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom.
Text 16. Karmana sukratasya tasyahu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkam ajnanam tamasa phalam.
The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness, but action done in the modes of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness.
17. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha pramada moha tamasa bhavato jnanam eva cha.
From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develop foolishness, madness, and illusion.
Text 18. Udvam gachanti satvasta madhye tishtanti rajasa jagrahanya gunavrittista haro gachanti tamasa.
Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go to upward to the higher planets. Those in the modes of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish world.
Okay, so this is a good place to stop there and just assess these few verses that we just read. Reincarnation is the process by which a soul receives a new material body on the following basis of activities performed in the present body. So our activities are a result of the decisions we make. Our decisions are ultimately based on the modes which we are being influenced by. So these modes, they have this subtle influence on what we are going to do through our decisions and activities. Thus, Krishna predicts the future destination of an individual based on a predominant mode in their lives. In summary, those in the mode of goodness go upwards to the heavenly higher planets. Those in passion live on earthly planets. Those in ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. So those in mode of goodness, they will perform activities for the benefit of others. Yeah, they live for others. And because of that, they're performing great pious activities for which they will be rewarded in this life and probably in the next life. And in the next life, they'll end up perhaps in a very wealthy family, very rich family. They'll have a lot of abundance of everything. Or if they've been really exceptional in how they've assisted others, they'll go to heaven and enjoy for thousands of years, thousands and thousands of years. But the problem with heaven is that one can enjoy there to the extent that one may not develop any further attachment to God. And hence, from heaven, when the good karma bank account has been used up, one again comes down to earth to perform more karmic activity. So when one comes, I mean, the process of how one comes down has been described partly in the Bhagavad Gita, but also extensively in the Srimad Bhagavad Puran, that from the heavens there would be rains. There are rains which are sent by Indra, and within the rains will be the souls coming down onto earth, and they would enter grains, and the grains would be eaten by humans, and eventually fructify, and as the living entity would be thrust into the womb of a pious living entity. So from heaven, when one comes from heaven, one is one has some strength, some because one's come from heaven. That soul, that living entity, will have some tejas, some brightness about them. So they'll be born in a family of perhaps righteous people or wealthy people, like that, or royalty perhaps. And then they'll start again. Now, when you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, that might result in some arrogance and pride developing, and eventually one, because of that pride and arrogance, sinks down into the lower regions of material life. So in the next life, because of perhaps bad karma that they may have performed due to arrogance, conceit, one may get some bad karma and end up in the lower species of life, perhaps animal life or lower subhuman life, like that. So those who are in passion, they will live on earthly planets. So passionate people, they got lots to do, and they'll continue that karma. So they do good and bad. There's a mixture. The good karma, they'll do bad karma. They end up on earth again as perhaps a human being. And when he's in ignorance, one's basically performed activities which are destruction of others and themselves as well. So their position is perhaps they will suffer some time in hell, go to hell. But it's not an internal condemnation. It's a short period of time where one suffers due to one's misdeeds. And then one comes the other direction. From heaven, they go into, a good, rich, cultured family. But when they come from hell, when the living entity comes from hell, they start at the most basic element of life, which is like the amoeba and the grass, and they slowly develop into trees. Next body will be amphibians, and then animals and with many legs, and then they'll reduce, and then eventually come to the position of the lion, the monkey or cow. And from that stage of life, one jumps into the human life. So it's interesting how it sort of works. That's generally how it works. So lesson 58, which mode are we in? This is a good one to assess. Where are we right now? Where are we? So we can do a survey. We're not going to have time today. Maybe tomorrow we'll do this survey. We'll work out where we stand. Which mode are we in? And once we establish what mode we're in, then the idea is to improve from whichever mode we're in to the next mode. So if we're in ignorance, move up to passion. If in passion, move up to goodness. If in goodness, try to cultivate pure goodness. Nobody's going to be in ignorance. But, this mode of passion can be quite tricky mode.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Yes. I think we are in the mode of goodness.
Mm.
Do you agree? Because we are following all the...
You are definitely.
No, just I'm telling for our associates,
Yeah. But
friends.
you definitely are, because you spend all your day. You don't go. You're not running around
You
like
are
a
right.
crazy guy.
You are right. Yes, we read,
Yes.
we consume prasadam, we
Yes.
associate with devotees
Yes.
like you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our friends must, I'm not telling them that to take advantage, take example of us, but you are doing your job and it's their duty to accept and to practice devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So in fact, you probably are in the mode of pure goodness because you spend your day all day around Krishna consciousness. So you're very fortunate, Sitaram Prabhu. So very good.
Prabhu,
That's very, very good.
it's the Lord mercy.
Yeah,
The Lord
most
mercy
beautiful.
associating with devotee, associating with you, associating with the temple. Even the temple, so many people goes over there. They are not so, I'm not blaspheming them, but it is like this. Even they cannot tell you Hare Krishna. I myself tell them Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
And then that someone ignore, but some accept.
Yeah.
as the senior devotees. It's like this. This is Kali Yuga, Prabhu. We should accept everything that happens
Correct.
and remain quiet, not to open our mouths, because
Yeah.
they will take it bad. Haribol, Prabhu.
I agree. I agree. No, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. Shamalini, any questions? Any realizations your side? Oh, we can't hear you, huh? Maybe there's a connection issue your side. Anyway, we can stop there and we'll continue with chapter 14 tomorrow, perhaps going through the different activities and how where we are in relation to those activities, so we can determine which mode we're in. So one example, is the mood of charity, right? If we give to anybody any time, not considering, time, place, circumstance, that's ignorance. Charity in the mode of ignorance. If we do charity with a view of getting honored, that's mode of passion. If we give charity in the mood of at the right time, right place, right person, that's mode of goodness. And if we give charity to spiritual causes, that's a mode of pure goodness. So an example is that those are the four categories. Where do we sit? And then according to where we sit, we can work out what sort of mode we're in. So we'll try to do that tomorrow, hopefully. Okay, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. So, stop.